Cosmos. It is Rocken Larry Locken in association with Pleiadian Express Productions. You're listening to Starseed Talk. I have a young lady today from Slovenia. This is her first time on air, so be gentle with her. This is Dara Dara from Slovenia Slovenia. I'm just kidding about the Slovenia Slovenia. There's only one Slovenia. Dara, how are you doing today, sweetheart?
I'm doing pretty good actually. Thank you. I mean, I'm trying to not to fuck things up, so I hope
Oh yeah.
we're gonna do just fine.
Oh, there's only what you need to understand is there's only the potential of every single person on the planet hearing you. That's it. I mean, it's
That's
not
cool.
any.
I mean, it's no biggie,
Yeah,
That's cool.
and
Yeah.
I mean, there won't be but two people that hear it, but that's the potential. So, Dara, we were talking. How did you find the page? Because I was curious. I know you just showed up one day with some really, really cool light code videos, right?
hmm
And and those were obviously taken in Slovenia. I didn't know they had light codes yet. You guys finally invented those, eh?
Yeah, that's just like a recent thing. We just came from the Stone Age, and they were just there, the light codes, like all of the sudden. So I
That was
just found them last
okay.
week, and yeah.
Well, that was about the time you guys stopped riding around the countryside on donkeys. Is that correct?
Definitely. I just stepped off my
Okay.
donkey and I saw the light.
Well, Slovenia, Slovakia, Lithuania, it's all the same to us Americans. I mean, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
if it didn't
Yeah.
happen, it didn't happen. So, it's kind of like pro wrestling. The light codes, though, it was interesting. How did you start noticing them that they were a thing? I mean, you weren't just looking at the sun shining and whatever.
Yeah,
How did
that
you come to your awareness?
was kind of a crazy story, but it's not that crazy. But one day I was going home, from the store, and the sun was setting, and I saw the sun, and I saw all these kind of rainbows around it, and I've never seen those before. So I wrote to this group that I was a part of if everybody is seeing the sun like that with all kinds of rainbows around and all kinds of shapes and colors, and nobody seemed to know what the fuck I was talking about. So basically,
Well,
in the next few years, yeah.
well, that must have been quite the enlightened group you were in then. Why, that sounds like really, I mean, everybody was real with it then. I'm kidding. But anyway, so what happened? So take us over the next few years. What happened?
I mean, I started to see all these light codes when I was taking photos and stuff, and I didn't know they were light codes. I thought it was something nice and beautiful, but
Hmm.
I didn't know what it was.
Well, there had to become a threshold though where you understood or you were told what they were. Did you figure that out somewhere on Facebook? Was it somewhere on social media? Did somebody mention it to you? Hey, those are light codes. I mean, at some point, you had to put a name to it, right?
Well, actually, this lady once I sent her the video. She reads
Hmm.
tarot cards. She told me those were light codes, but I didn't know the context of those. But the first time that I figured it out was when I saw your page, on Facebook. So that was
Oh,
the first time. Yeah.
well, thank you for giving it a plug, ladies and gentlemen. That is the Pleiadian and Angelic Rainbow Orbs page on Facebook. That is the mothership to about 30 other platforms we have, including TikTok, Hip Hop, Bit Bop, and It Won't Stop, and It Don't Stop, usually ever at the break of dawn. Um, so we were also, we were talking about the future of quantum living,
Yeah.
more of a kingdom myth. And you'd mentioned something interesting to me before the show that it's important that the consciousness be ready to handle that, or it could be extremely dangerous. Do you
Yeah.
think it just makes us more of a mark for easier dupes to be pulled on us by the New World Order, the Illuminati, the Cabal, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Bilderberg Group, the Harper Valley PTA. I mean, that kind of thing.
hmm I
Okay.
mean, the thing here is, I think it really goes hand in hand because as our consciousness is ready for quantum computing, it's gonna appear, because everything is already present in everything there ever will be is already exists. We just need to connect to it, and it's quantum entanglement because when one particle here is ready, the particle on the other side of the universe is ready too. So when we're
Yeah.
ready, it's gonna happen, you know. But let's just hope it, the wrong kind of consciousness doesn't get a hold of it, because that wouldn't be a great thing, you know.
Well, no, not really. It's not because the spiritualism has to keep up with the technology. The Pleiadians and star races have learned that, right? And then you got races like the Greys
Yeah.
that trick themselves out with just going the technology route, right? And they burn themselves out. It's kind of the tale of two civilizations. The Greys going one
Mm-hmm.
way. I mean, even if you don't believe in it, it's kind of a metaphor. Went one way, no spiritualism, but just let their technology go through the roof. Whereas the
Mm-hmm.
Pleiadians have had their consciousness keep up with their technological inventions, right? I know a lot of technology that we've stolen from extraterrestrials is, oh, sure, it can be reverse engineered and all that shit. But when you don't have the technology to use it properly, it's dirty, you know?
That's the problem, you know. I mean, the grays are something that is happening on Earth right now. All these people or beings who are detached from the source, and they are
Hmm.
trying to replace the source with technology, which doesn't work, you know. And we have all these things in the Silicon Valley and other similar occurrences that people are trying to take the infinite source out of context, and they want to replace it with just technology without soul. So that is the same thing that the Greys would be doing, you know.
Of course it is. And, when I think about Silicon Valley or places like that, I think of no consciousness. I think of really brilliant souls, earth wise. I mean, technological wise, IQ, I'm sure on
Mm-hmm.
earth wise, but there's no even really thought of spiritualism that goes along with it. And it would be
Yeah,
interesting to know just how far it would have came along had it been done like that. If we would have went with Nikola Tesla's inventions, I mean, he had all kinds of amazing inventions, but of course, it couldn't have been given away for free. There was no money to be made in that, right?
exactly.
So,
I mean, yeah,
yeah, I mean, we would have probably had the internet at least by the 1970s instead of the 90s, probably maybe even the 50s. It's a matter of technology gets slowed way down by greed, way down. They milk and milk and milk and bilk every last little bit of it till they have to upgrade. Meanwhile, the whole time they're trying to find an angle so they can control that next technology that comes out, right?
definitely. I mean, but on the other hand, it was already in the process that Tesla would do the wireless electricity that would be free for all and all that stuff. And the tower was taken down. But at the same time, I'm thinking if people would be ready at that point of their development to accept things like the internet, stuff like
Hmm.
that, or does that correlate to the state of consciousness? Because I don't know if I'm being too pessimistic to think that people wouldn't be able to understand it at that point in time, or they would. What do you think? I mean,
Well, what you were saying made me sparkle what we were talking about earlier on about how things have kind of gotten flat. Like on social media, it's not that it's flat or everything's still cool, kind of like that, but the air is taken out of the sails, and I liken it to a feeling that me and a bunch of my friends had right before the internet came out. The internet came out like about 9 months after I graduated from high school. I mean, in its infinite form. I'm talking 28K dial up, buying the motherfucker by the hour. You could get kicked off a local server if there was too many people on, right? So you couldn't do anything but load a page to read it for about the first year. Then a little bit of
yeah, it
music,
was
but
really slow. Yeah.
we had this impending feeling coming out of the 80s. We had this impending feeling like that there was something, we didn't know what, something had to give. I mean, shit had just gotten flat. The music was
Mhm.
flat. The 90s were a lot like the 1970s, but without the color to them, without
Mhm.
the really kind of a flat time. It was great and fun, but at the same time, there was the feeling had been sucked out. Somebody even wrote a song called that back then. But so we
Mhm.
were kind of waiting for something like that to come around, right? The internet. I had
Yeah.
first read about the magazine 9 months before it came out. I didn't know what the fuck it was. I spent a whole summer sitting there looking at this thing on a magazine cover that my dad had, Popular Mechanics, and it said "Coming Soon, Super Information Highway," and it was a
Mhm.
computer shooting all kinds of shit out of it, like different products, different corporation logos coming out of it, right? And I kept wondering, what in the fuck are they talking about? And I didn't
Mhm.
know for a few. and it occurred to me, or somebody told me, but I kept looking at that every day. I'd look at that magazine out in the den, and I'd be like, where my dad had all his magazines, and I'd be like, what the fuck are they talking about? Yeah, I didn't know. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't a
Mhm.
computer guy until the internet came out. I mean, I took it in high school, but I'll give you an idea. Our semester exam was to format a disk, which on an old one, which on a little floppy disk, it's 3 clicks to format a disk. There
I
was
know, I
nothing.
remember the floppy disks. I used to use them in CDs, you know.
Right, right. Probably the hard ones, the smaller ones. I'm talking. These were the big floppy ones, and I had, I don't
Oh,
like we did in that class. I mean, it was just. I don't think the teacher knew. It was just a green screen that I don't know. You could play a couple games on it. The graphics sucked. I mean, they were, like graphics improved. You went from Pong to the Atari to Nintendo to.
I mean, we really came far, you know, from floppy
Yeah,
disks up
right.
to now was really a big, big leap, you know.
Absolutely. From tape, 8 tracks of tapes to CD players in my time, and the initial CD players, man, you couldn't walk by one of those without it skipping. And then
Yeah.
they ended up getting better, right? You couldn't. I mean, there were certain things you could not do with them at first, and then they improved the technology with them.
I mean, it's not cannot even be compared that the state of technology that we have right now and the amount of information in the servers that can be stored and how quick the
That's
internet
still,
is, you know.
yeah, I hate to interrupt you there yet, but still, I've been thinking a lot this too lately that even still, with all the technology we have, it still seems like shit's too slow. Maybe that's just because we're
Mhm.
getting. I mean, for me, this is just me personally. For instance,
Mhm.
TikTok has a weird ass thing, and I don't think anybody else notices this, but okay, you download something from TikTok, right? Oh, it's quicker,
Mhm.
but you can't fast forward the motherfucker. It's weird. Maybe it's just something that's plaguing me. Nobody else seems to have this issue. But you
You know,
download
let me
something from
tell you
Instagram
something.
or Lemonade or Facebook or YouTube, right? Well, you can fast forward the son of a bitch. You can't
Oh
do it with
yeah.
a TikTok thing. I mean, I'd be curious somebody out there if you know what I'm talking about. If you've ever downloaded anything from TikTok and you try to fast forward the son of a bitch, like whatever, because I do a lot of editing. It's constantly what I do. I mean, it's for every
Mhm.
20-second thing I put out there, it's been hours spent on it.
I
So,
actually do know what you're talking about because,
and
you
what
know,
is that? I wonder why that is, though. I wonder why it is. Do you have an answer for me? I'm so eager to know. I'm like, why,
I
why?
actually do know, you know, because the thing here is the what we were talking about was the quantum computing and all that.
I,
And in my opinion, the best quantum computer right now is the human brain, and it's probably gonna be for a long while.
oh,
So
you
what's
think so?
going on?
What could
Hmm.
replace it? I mean, yeah, well, yeah. Right now, it is. Why is there going to be something to come along? I'm giving you a bad time to replace it. The brain. It is though the
I
best
mean,
thing. Right? But I always thought that that might tie into the quantum computing because TikTok is so much faster at downloading shit. I wonder if that's kind of like the 2 steps forward, one back.
yeah,
Some
no, but it's
motherfucker
a different kind of problem you are experiencing, you know.
maybe it may be just me, and maybe, but it only happens with shit downloaded from TikTok, and it takes about 20 seconds or so to. Oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought. We got X, we got kicked off X. Elon Musk, great, wonderful. I want
Hmm.
it so bad, I really do, but it's. I don't know. It really speaks to the level of probably the person who owns it, but it.
That that's what I'm trying to tell you is because your brain is accelerating at a really really big rate right now. You know, your brain is as in a quantum computer is really
Oh,
getting yeah.
oh, mine particularly, or the human brain? I thought you were telling me that mine is.
Like the human brain, but yours in particular in this case, you know, and it's really, I'm telling you, it's really fucking boring to wait for all these things to upload and download and I find myself speeding up videos like 1.5 or 2 times because
Yeah.
it's really boring for an evolving brain to follow the speed of those things, you know.
Right, right, right. I'm still a little old school. I still like things to sound the way they did, right? But I mean, it's this damnedest thing with TikTok. Just you can't. It takes about 20 seconds or 15 seconds. It depends. If it's something you got to
Hmm.
fast more than a minute ahead into, but forget it, man.
That's the problem because your brain waves are really quick, are really fast, are is the ultimate processor, you know, it's the ultimate quantum computer, and this
Yeah.
is what it is the whole problem. They are not gonna be able to make a computer like that for a long time, I'm telling you, you know.
Well, not quite exactly like that, but it just seems to me like there's a lot of little bugs they could really work out of it if they wanted to.
I mean, you know, the qua
It gets me. I don't understand why all these formats don't, in this day and age, have the ability to go live from, broadcast from. I can't imagine in this day and age, and I'm not a big IT guy at all, that it's a fucking
Mhm.
bandwidth issue. But it could be. It could be because it's on such a mass scale, and it could be the cheapness of that company. I mean, I don't know, right? I don't know.
Maybe.
It's just different with different different social media platforms, right? Some allow this
Mhm.
much time, some can do this, some can do that. The one that has the best broadcasting system by far, but you can't upload shit to it, and you really can't download anything more than a 30-second clip from it. That's Twitch. But that's a gamer system. That's for gamers. But I usually, a lot of times, I'll go on live on there too, but you can't download anything. Not only that, you can't upload a photo as a thumbnail either. So really, the only thing you can do is really go live there and have your shows stored there, but there can't be anything done with them really. You can't
Mhm.
download for there. But their system, as far as that initial broadcasting, is far superior to any of the other platforms. And I, deal with 14 of them all the time, constantly. In fact, I've
I
tried to
mean,
get so many people to come on and talk to me about
yeah.
from a reason of not from a social reason. A lot of folks use these, for fun and for social reasons. And I'd be curious to know which ones they prefer. Now, I don't want some curmudgeon who's just into their one thing or two platforms and that's all they do and fuck, that's it. Okay, and that's fine. I understand people have the time, but it's got to be somebody who's dealt with a few of them, right? At least, not
Mhm.
necessarily 14 of them, 15 of them, like I do on an everyday basis, but that knows a little bit. Not that somebody that's just stuck into TikTok, that just stuck into Instagram, that just stuck into Facebook, that just stuck into Blue Sky, stuck into here. You know what I mean? There's no versatility. Right, I understand you just want to be on one, but man, at least have the platform everywhere you are. But
Well, you
every
know, that
yeah,
could be debated because it's actually the quality of information you're putting out there. I mean, if the quality of information is really good, it doesn't really matter if you only put it on one, two, or three platforms.
no.
Uh, I mean, if you get a good response to the information you put out there, you should really think about putting it on more platforms. But if somebody has, I don't know, not too many things to say, it doesn't really matter on how many platforms they put it, you
Well,
know.
no. Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of getting at is I'd like to talk to folks who use it for just social reasons, to check things out, they do
Hmm.
post, but they're doing it for just enjoyment, right? I'd like to know which ones they like. Do they like Snapchat? And Snapchat's another one, dude. That I'm on there and we post all the time there, but I don't really understand it quite completely. I mean, I do, but I don't. What you can and cannot do there, but I'm figuring it out. I'm, with Pinterest
But
and Blue
do you
Sky.
think, I mean, this is like, why exactly do you need an answer to this question? Like, I mean, because I think there might be a number of reasons why some things are slower. Maybe they make it like that on purpose too. Who knows? Or maybe it's really too large of a number of people over there and doesn't go any quicker, or maybe it's just the servers or the technology they use, you know. Might be like a number of reasons why some things are being slow, you know.
Well, and it stands to reason too. Like for instance, like the sites where you can only post a video that's up to 3 minutes long, like on Blue
Hmm.
Sky, 2 minutes and 59 seconds and less. Right? It is slow as fuck to post something on Blue Sky. I mean, it is like snails growing. Okay, whereas like Pinterest or Snapchat or even WhatsApp, it's like lightning quick to do it. Okay,
Well,
or
I,
like
I think
Lemonade
it's,
about 5 minutes now. They
yeah.
used to only allow 1 minute, and then one day all of a sudden, I never heard them announce it, but I started trying it and it worked. You can post up to 5 minute videos on there, and it's quick. It's lightning quick. It's lightning quick like TikTok, and then once you download some shit from there, you don't
Mhm.
have that lag like with TikTok where it takes 20 seconds if you fast forward some shit to get to it.
I
right? Like we were
think
talking about a minute ago.
it's self-explanatory. You know, that's you just answered your own question. You should be using the sites that are quicker because
You know,
more likely, if you're gonna get frustrated by something, just uploading it,
but
people on the other side are gonna, yeah.
I'm addicted to watermarks, though, man. I wish they had more of them. I mean, I
I
worry that
know
people.
it. Yeah.
Well, my big worry is that I worry that people can't see my name if they've ever seen one of my videos. I mean, I'd be curious if anybody's ever saw a watermark on one of them.
So I'm just off topic. I think we completely went off all the topics, you know, and we got
We always do
lost
that,
in.
Pete. We always do here. I told you that. We get back to the quantum thing,
Mhm.
right? Quantum
Mhm.
entanglement. But it's okay. Let me ask you this: what is your definition of quantum entanglement? When you hear that term, and it's going to be used a hell of a lot more in the future, for sure. What do you think about?
So actually, you know, when you told me that we were going to talk about quantum entanglement, I just went, I kind of knew already what it was in a way, but I just went to read about it a little more. And I kind of came up to a few conclusions. I mean, if you want, we can talk about that.
But no, no, I had you on air to him and haw. No, 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 no. No, we don't want to talk about those. I just wanted you to him and haw and tell everybody. Yeah, of course. Yeah, yes. What conclusion did you come up with about them?
Well, you know, there was this story that they were explaining, like about this superposition. It's like a position if you take like a little coin, and the coin has two sides, you know? And the
Yeah.
superposition of that coin would be you don't know on which side it's gonna fall. So it's either one or the other option, but we don't know. But then I thought about the how do you call them, the polyhedral dice, you know, that they use in some table games,
Yeah.
like Dungeons and Dragons or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives you more of a space to explore because the polyhedral dice has many sides, not only two like the coin.
Mm.
And when you throw the dice, you have more options. So if you think about parallel universes, you know,
Yeah.
and the endless options you have there, because there might be an unlimited number of parallel universes. So what I'm trying to say is with the quantum entanglement, I get lost in my own soup sometimes, but I mean, we're gonna have to talk this through so I can get some better
Oh.
ideas. But yeah,
Yeah.
tell
Right.
me.
Yeah. Well, there are endless parallel realities. I feel like in my thoughts that there's well, and this is what I've been told by Pleiadians, but I mean, I don't take what they say for gospel, even though I've never had them tell me anything that didn't turn out to be true. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if they told me to jump off a bridge tomorrow, I wouldn't. So there's endless parallel realities. For every left step you took, there's a one where you took a right, and then there's one where you took a right after that, one where you took a left, and so you can see whereas time goes
Exactly.
by that it don't
Yeah.
take long at all to add up to literally billions of these, right? Before you're probably even able to
Of
um
course.
you really know that there's life going on around you, you know what I mean, in
Yeah.
childhood. So
But
that's
I
what I
think
think, right?
it's another problem with this. You know, I thought about it like free will. You know, if we take the dice or we take the coin, would you think that the it's already in the field on which side the coin is gonna fall at that given moment, or which side of the dice it's gonna come out? Do we have free will, or is everything like predestined in all the parallel realities, if you know what I mean?
Well, it's going to happen one way or another in a parallel reality, right? It's probably not
Yeah.
predestination, but realities. It's going to happen in a lot of times. I mean, I know I've
Mm.
never subscribed to this bullshit theory that it's just scripted out and it was meant to be. Well, of course, there are people sent here on missions and shit like that, but those are, you know, but along the way on that mission, there's so many different things that can be experienced, right? And so many different things that can be altered.
Yeah,
So,
we
I mean,
have options, definitely. I mean, and
yeah.
every choice creates a parallel reality, you know, I guess.
But in that free will universe, my co-host Jason Wilson said it best one time. He's like, "Man, but here's the deal: in that free will universe, other people have free will to fuck with your free will. You know what I mean? People, like,
Mhm.
some of these motherfuckers will insist on blowing your bliss. I mean, for sure.
Well, they have been fucking with our free will big time.
Well, of course. I mean, it's a predator type thing with some people. It's a power game, right? Or it's kind of the
Mhm.
opposite. It's a power game, or they want to believe in a daddy, like they want to believe in a dictator as a leader, or they want to believe in some guy in the clouds with a harp who waved a wand and created them and is their master of all baiters. You know what I'm saying? And baits them in.
Yeah, yeah. Most of the people need a shepherd, like you said. They need a daddy to answer to, and to be submissive, because they take their own power away. They take the power from themselves.
And I've never understood that. Maybe it's because I've always been, awakened. I didn't have contact till I was 35, but I mean, I've always been awakened to know everything that's going on in the world since I could talk, and
Mhm.
nothing surprised me. The only thing ever surprised me is shit I've seen off world, but none of it did. The people somehow, for some reason, they like having a daddy to look up to. They like putting, they used to live really vicariously through people before, especially you think they would more
Mhm.
through the internet now, but before the internet, it was really a big deal because your favorite pop star, you wouldn't see them, but in a magazine or maybe on a variety show every once in a fluke of a blue moon. So there was the 6 degrees of separation. Whereas now, with the internet, it's more desensitized because you have that access to see what they're doing like every fucking day. I mean, put it this way: nobody's ever gonna piss their pants like they did with the Beatles or the Elvis or Michael Jackson ever again. I don't care how big they get because
They
more
are still
desensitized.
pissing their pants, actually. The girls, when they
It was
went.
like a religious experience seeing them. I know John Lennon took a lot of heat for saying that they were as popular as Jesus Christ, but they fucking were. I mean, there's only been three acts that ever
Yeah.
have with Michael Jackson, the Beatles in their primes, and you got that second tier like the Stones and shit. But those three, and it can never be matched again, even if they were reincarnated here because of the desensitized issue, right? You don't have to wait forever to see them anywhere, right? You could check out
Mhm.
what they every day. You don't have to wait for one magazine that you're going to have and sit there and read till the pages fall out, right? Or
I
yeah,
think that
them.
is also back in the day, or even today sometimes, when people have like a limited life to live, like they don't have a lot of money, or they don't have a lot of options, or can be a lot of different things. They still like to leave people through others. That might be also the part of the problem, because when you can't live your life the way you want to deeply inside your heart, sometimes you find these celebrities or whoever to try to live through them.
You do definitely, and then there's some people that are just that they love that kind of gossip and drama, and they're not really, they're not really alone. They're not really that financially in peril. They just think it's really
Hmm.
neat to and think, what somebody's doing, that somebody did
Yeah.
this or somebody did that, and I see it, and it's so far out of my realm and world now that when I'm on, for instance, I'm on one platform I'm on because do have a good quality, even though it's like going to the ghetto. It's called Scoops. People used to get
Hmm.
picked up at the rep. Scoops is really like going down into the hood, but I can multidimensional function anywhere. But the people there are into shit like that, and people getting in a fist fight over a pepper. Somebody got one more pepperoni than they did on their piece of pizza at the pizza parlor. I mean, weird shit
Yeah.
like that. And people, what Cardi B's doing, and I don't give a fuck what I don't even really. I mean, I know
Exactly.
Kanye.
I
No,
mean,
Kanye West
yeah.
got drawers according to Stephen Colbert, but I mean, who cares?
But there is something going on with the celebrity culture. People are finding their own power inside of themselves. And I see a lot of celebrity culture disappearing. It's slowly disappearing. People are not worshiping celebrities as much as they used to.
No, and you kind of have a divide too. You really have like actually a good side that are in the celebrity movement, and then that evil fucking pedo side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have
Mm-hmm.
a split going on where some of them were not associating with each other anymore. So there's a massive awakening going on, and it's bringing a lot of the dark to the light. I mean, out
Mm-hmm.
and up into the purview of people's realities, right?
That's true. Yeah.
It is. It is what it is, but the only thing we do know is the only thing going on possibly ever is just in this second. We don't know. There
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been. it isn't the future yet in our reality. And like like Daryl, the guy that channeled Bashar, he was like, "Hey, you're never going to look at your watch and tell somebody it's then when they ask you the time. It's then
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't exist. It's just right this second, right? So we don't know. Whatever hasn't happened yet in our reality. So it's just what it is.
I mean, this is again the limitless options from the superposition in the quantum entanglement, like you have
So
endless options of endless realities.
endless ones, right? And as time goes on, as the consciousness awakens more, these things all come together, right? It's and the
Yeah.
way that does happen, the way that you perceive all that is because your mind is more awakened. It's not that you're more intelligent earthwise, but although that follows with it, but you're just
Hmm.
you see more of the spectrum around you, like other dimensions start opening up to you, the life that's teeming all around you in various dimensions, right? Yeah, you
Yeah, I
start
mean,
that.
I'm just sorry to break you up. I just wanted to tell you something about the things that we talked before when you were talking about God and having a daddy and all this celebrity worship. I think people use
Before,
it as an excuse, not to let for themselves to be in their own power, because as soon as
right?
people step into their own power and they realize they are limitless beings, they stop needing a daddy or celebrity worship and shit like that. So that's the point, I think, where the consciousness really becomes something more, that the person really becomes conscious when they admit their own power and start acting like they have it because they do.
And I've seen that's one of those rare things that you're talking about right there that seems to happen. Like once it does happen for somebody like that, though, it happens overnight. It's not like it was this
Mm-hmm.
build up, right? Or there's a build up, but all of a sudden it's there. All of a sudden, one
Yeah.
day, hey, they don't want to watch the NFL anymore. They don't want to watch the soap operas anymore. They don't want to, all
Yeah,
of a sudden, like one day, boom, they're just
it's
not into it
true.
anymore.
Because you can't stomach it anymore. You reach a certain threshold, like you reach a certain point of consciousness where you just can't stomach those things anymore, because I mean, I'm not gonna say they are not real. I guess they are not, in a way. It's like an opium for the masses, the sports and the music industry
Yeah,
and the film industry.
yeah.
But you can't stomach them anymore. And like you
Never
said, it really
ending.
happens overnight.
It's all a loser's proposition. Sports. I was a big sports fan for 40 years. I knew, I mean, I've got autism, so every fucking I know who's won everything and everything you could ever want to know. I'd school anybody at it probably still. But you
Hmm.
realize that it's never going to be a winning situation, right? You
Yeah.
could win. You could be a team that won 6 Super Bowls in 20 years, which there was one here, even though football's not your thing. But I mean, so even still, right? The majority of those years they ended up losing, right? And so it's always a loser's proposition, right? You're always chasing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sports is really one of them things where it's competition really breeds division. I know that sounds really radical because I mean I coached
Hmm.
football for years. I'm not against it per se, even though it's really brutal as fuck, and people have no idea unless you've been up
Yeah.
close. Kids hitting each other like trains. Oh God, it'll take your breath away.
Oh.
But
Hmm.
really, people are kind of a lot of people that get tired of that, it's just all of a sudden, right? They're just done with it.
Of
You
course, I
know,
mean, when you reach a certain point of consciousness, it's really hard to participate in that.
yeah, all of a sudden you find yourself one day on the outside looking in, the whole family's watching a football game or whatever, and you just
Yeah.
can't get into it anymore. I mean, really.
It's
I mean, I
true.
had this last Christmas break, my dad and my son were watching a game, and I got into it and had a little fun with it and taped a bunch of shit while we were listening to it and, gave a bunch of rhetoric during the whole game. But that was the only
Hmm.
way that I could really function with putting up with that mundaneness of it all. You know what I mean? Otherwise,
It's true.
otherwise,
It
the
completely
going.
changes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a never ending, right? And it's and I can see I'm not a betting person at all, but if I was and I was paid a lot of money to be into it, I'm pretty good at predicting these games like in the second quarter, and I don't give a fuck what the score is. I'm looking by the
Mhm.
trend. I've seen so it's not really a matrix kind of, but it is. I've seen 45 years of watching this shit religiously. I've seen so many scenarios, so many different things, right? That they all start to come around again. And so with about an 85% to 90% success rate, I can tell by the time the early part, before even the halfway point, is like how it's going to go down, who's going to come back, who's going to do what. And it really has zero to do with what the fucking score is at the time. I mean, whether, it's this or that.
Yeah, well,
Trends with
mhm.
them.
It's like pattern recognition, you know. You learned how to predict these things, even though sometimes probably, I don't know if a lot of the sports are rigged too, you know, probably they are. I mean,
More intricate. They are, they're not, they are. I hate to tell people that or go indulge people in that because they'll just say, oh, it's just
mhm.
rigged. Yeah, but it's so much more intricate than that. It's like saying politics is just all the big show. It is, but it's not. It's not as bad as you think it is, but it's worse than you can imagine. And I don't mean worse like they think. It's just on there's so many intricate
Yeah.
levels to it all, right? There's so many different patterns and levels, and you can know the beginning game and you can know the end game, right? But if you don't know the meat of it,
Hmm.
unless you're a super high consciousness person, if you don't know the meat of it in between, you really don't have a full grasp for it. You know what I'm
Actually,
saying?
I'm sorry to. I mean, we strayed off the topic, but you reminded me of certain things that I was thinking before about the quantum computing and the quantum entanglement. You know, it is
Mm-hmm.
said that in quantum computing you can take the zeros and the ones that you would take in, let's say, classical computing, and you can take them both at the same time, so you can have more options. You know, what I'm trying to say is that a lot of things in the matrix would be based on zeros and ones, and as our brain as a quantum computer, we will have more options than just zeros and ones, and I guess that's what it is, you know. A lot
That's a
of
good.
these things are based in the matrix, and we are not based in the matrix anymore. Our brains evolved to I'm not gonna say live outside the matrix, but to exist outside the matrix that we are in right now. Um, so what I'm
Well, they
trying
woke
to,
up to the ability that
yeah,
we could, right? It was always there, but we've woken more up to the ability to the fact that that's how it works, and we're on that path. Like everything you said
yeah.
sounds. I couldn't. Yeah, I mean, it sounds great, and I believe it. I have no idea, but I believe it.
I mean, zeros and ones are what the matrix is built of, and
No, I get
you
that.
would
Yeah,
just say it's a regular computer, but in quantum computing, you will have many more options, and you will be able to think and live outside the box. And I guess this is why a lot of things don't resonate anymore. Either that would be like sports or movies or whatever, you know, in that
well,
kind of
you've just kicked
sense.
open the door by doing that, right? You've just kicked open a door now to where you have, instead of one to two options, you've got not only another dozen more, but off of each one of those side options to it too, right? So you've opened up this big window
Yeah,
with
of
possibilities.
limitless possibilities. I mean, you know.
Absolutely, and it doesn't take much, right? It doesn't take much to spawn that into limitless, as far as many more
No.
numbers. You're right. We've been hooked into that 0 1 0 1 0 1
Yeah.
mentality. 1 1 1. Yeah, 3 9 7 1. Number stations again. Here I get good on those. Yeah, yeah, those are one of my favorite things I listened to as a kid all the time. Those were entertaining. Very
Yeah, I mean, your brain is
repetitive.
really quick, you know. Your brain, I mean, most of the brains are quantum computers, but let's say for your brain is even quicker. So it must
Yeah,
be
I get
really boring for you to do certain things, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not as quick as it once was, though. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm not as quick-witted as I used to be, right? I quit doing radio for 5 years because my wife at the time, didn't want me to be involved in any of that anymore. So but it's not as quick as it once was, but it's because of, I'm autistic, though. It's hard for me to function at one time. I'll go here, there, everywhere, right? We could start talking about. We could go from light bulbs all the way to Brillo pads. In I don't know
Well,
whatever.
what you are talking about is basically quantum computing inside your brain, and all
Oh,
it needs is a little structure, like you have these endless possibilities, and you talk about a lot of them at the same time, which might be confusing sometimes, especially when the world is still built only on the option of 0 and 1. But all
yeah.
you need is to structure those a little, and that would be just perfect, probably.
Wow, that's awesome. Wow, okay. Oh, that's really cool. I get that a lot. Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm told that and my brain is really something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really something. I mean, I didn't know you like 10 years ago, so I don't know how it was back then, but it's pretty
quick.
amazing right now.
Yeah, quick witted with rhymes that could go forever and ever and ever and ever. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. My mind isn't like that anymore, but really, really fast
The
with
endless
anything. Yeah.
possibilities, of rhyming.
And very annoying to people if I didn't keep it in check, right? I could get really annoying easily.
Well, I wouldn't say exactly annoying. It's just.
Somebody intellectual and knows a fine person like yourself, I mean, knows when I mean, you're somebody that knows greatness, obviously. But
I mean, I can understand different perspectives coming from people, and I understand how certain things could be annoying to some people, but it's
like,
more like sometimes all of these processes that go inside our brains,
yeah,
they sometimes, I think, we, instead of keeping it inside our brain, we just do it
mhm.
outside, and you know
Well, we look for everything outside, don't we? Right? We look for everything. We look for everything. I mean, really, the universe is within us, actually, and it's as a
yeah,
collective we projected that image that we see out around us. But people are ascending at different levels, so people are seeing different shit right now. Um,
yeah.
So yeah, exactly. It's we're always looking for without the whole million-mile journey. We were already there, but we just kept going and going and looking outward to find it.
Mm-hmm.
I've had countless extraterrestrial collectives tell me that in their own way, just like that. That go within, go within. But then, see, people used to throw catchphrases around like that back in the old school New Age movement, Starseed movement, back in the '80s and '90s when you had what you had back then was you had about a third of the Starseed community that were fucking absolute shitbag cult followers. You had another third that were just
Mm-hmm.
bad,
Mm-hmm.
but then you had another third that were real pioneers, true
Yeah.
pioneers, talking about a lot of this shit that we are today, and some of them stuff that we're not quite even there yet with, like people like Eric Von Doniken and people like Sitchin and people like that,
Yeah.
people. Lee and Vivian Gladden and folks like that and Dale Walker, the crystal guy. People are like, who the fuck? Yeah, nobody will know anybody I just mentioned. But
Well, I know Mr. Van Daniken, who wrote all these books and had the show with the ancient aliens, but
well, I've tried to interview him. My hope is before he passes, I'll interview him. Yeah, I've got all his books. He's great.
he's
He wrote
amazing. Yeah.
Chariots of the Gods, and it's really how the Bible would go if there was any truth to it. He was
Hmm.
forced to rewrite the Bible in boarding school by hand twice in two separate
Wow.
languages that were not his own, because over there they speak more than one language. Unlike in America, where we don't even really speak English, it's our own made up lazy slang
I
version of
mean,
it.
he
But
was in Austria, no? He was living in
he,
Austria when he was a kid.
Switzerland. Well, he's
Switzerland,
from.
okay.
I don't know if he ever lived in Austria. I think that sounds familiar. Possibly he lives over
No,
by.
maybe probably it was Switzerland. It was, yeah. I mean, it was either Austria or Switzerland. I think
Well, he's from
one of
Switzerland. I
those.
don't know if he went to boarding school.
Hmm.
Maybe he went to boarding school in Austria. But the point being is, he started reading this shit, and he's like, "Look, I mean, if this story's true, then this is what they're seeing, not that." You know what I mean? The wise men weren't following
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
star, probably a UFO, and Sodom and Gomorrah was probably an ancient nuclear war, not something where God came down and punished people because people were, I don't know, staying
Hmm.
out till after midnight and having
Naughty, yeah.
welfare. Yeah, yeah, and
But
God punished
actually,
people.
what he had to do, like you said he had to rewrite. I mean, he
Yeah,
had to
they just
copy
made
the
him do it.
Bible.
They just made him rewrite it by hand in two other languages that weren't his primary. That was just, I guess, that what they thought was really something that was great to have a kid do. I mean, sounds like torture to me, and I'm sure a
But
little
but
bit of
but let me tell you, you just answered the question because it was great because that what actually made him think about it deeply in different
absolute.
languages. Yeah.
No, absolutely. But I mean, it wasn't the intention of the motherfuckers that made him do it to have that happen, though.
No, but it happened anyway, so the outcome was pretty great.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I mean, that book was riveting. I mean, it's one that people should know of that, and it's not really something younger Starseeds need to know too much about, but because they're already awakened like that. But it's for historical references is one of those ones like was the 12th planet was Sitchin with the Anunnaki. The only thing Sitchin had wrong was the fucking, the elliptical orbit with Nibiru. Nibiru was a biodome planet. Guess who said it
Mhm.
right on that? That was his
Mhm.
buddy Von Doniken. So, but
Mhm.
nobody else could have interpreted those tablets. What would have been
Mhm.
great is if you could have had him and Charles Darwin have a meeting of the minds together, and the two of them with an open mind probably could have figured it out together. You had evolution is true, but along the way, so many times in our existence as humanity, we've had those upgrades, right? We've had those
Mhm.
those wild card upgrades come in, right, at
Mhm.
different times. So, and it really explains a lot. That 12th Planet is a really rough read. If anybody's ever going to read it, I would say get the audio version. It's on YouTube. Listen to William Shatner do it. It's a son of a bitch to read the 12th Planet. He's fun to listen to in interviews, Sitchin, but his writing is extremely fucking dry as a
Mhm.
motherfucker, and it's a rough read. It's a really rough read. The 12th Planet. People are like, "What?" Yeah, don't worry about it. You don't need to know. Yeah, it was the original book about the Anunnaki. That's why when people come up with shit about the Anunnaki, now I said I've heard, I've seen it, I've read it, I
Yeah,
listened to the
and the Nibiru and all that. I was
yeah,
listening to a lot of that from Von Daniken also, you know. Yeah.
people, but yeah, I mean, so I know all about it, right? And any version of it here now is just kind of made up offshots of that. But I mean, Sitchin was the one that first came out and interpreted those Sumerian tablets. And William
Mhm.
Shatner does a pretty good job narrating the book. He doesn't use his stereotypical Captain Kirk voice, doing it. He sounds really good. Um, in the book, right? I gave the book
Yeah.
away. I had it, but yeah, it was a rough read. It wasn't as interesting as Von Doniken's work. Gold to the Gods, Chariots to the Gods, Eyewitness to the Gods. God was an astronaut. Um, God was a
Mhm.
planner. No, they didn't say that. He didn't write that, but everything of the gods, right? And then the other night I was talking about not so long ago, and I said fingerprints of the gods, and that's not true. He didn't write fingerprints of the gods. That was Graham Hancock. Graham's a good author too. I feel like
Oh,
fuck,
okay. Mhm.
goddamn Hancock.
So
But
when you said, when you said like evolution is real, but this and that, but you know, the some groups that you mentioned before that are trying to control the world and input their own agenda, I don't think they will be too
no,
happy for people to know that people are getting upgrades,
no, yeah,
in
no, I'm sure they're thrilled about it. I'm sure that it would be well, yeah, oh yeah, no, they want no, they want to lose control.
yeah.
Kidding, no, they don't. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure they know. I don't really know what they know or how they know, or I'm sure they do know. I mean, do you think the
Mhm.
United States government knows? Do you think the United States government knows that extraterrestrials exist? I feel like the whole world, everybody on planet Earth, including all the other governments, we're keeping this from the. We're all for some reason in cahoots, keeping a big secret from the United States federal government because they're the only ones that seem to not realize extraterrestrials exist yet. And then you'll get some dumb motherfucker when I say that that'll go, "Oh, they do, they know." I said, "Don't shut the fuck up. I'm making a joke, you dumbass." I know they know, but according to them, they don't know because with them, they don't know, they do know, they would know, they could know, they will know, they won't know, they shall, but they shan't, they will, but they won't, they did, but they don't. Do they exist? They did, but they didn't. They may, but they may
But
not.
the
They
crazy
will, but they
thing
won't.
these days, is
Yeah.
like there's so much shit and misinformation about aliens everywhere that people are starting. I'm not gonna say not to believe in them, but since the technology,
Oh no.
I don't know if we are supposed to mention this or not. The blue beam technology and similar technologies, when you have all
Oh,
this really high quality. holographic projections,
Yep. Yeah. Well, and
and
Bluebeam,
yeah,
Bluebeam's old. Yeah, they've got better technology than Harper, Bluebeam. Those are just kind of front names that they put out there to keep people really distracted because
yeah, yeah,
it's better to just tell somebody, okay, look, you own a store, right? And I'm gonna tell you, Dara, I'm gonna come in there and say, look, there ain't nothing you can do about it. I'm coming in here every Friday afternoon and I'm gonna rip off one soda from you. Okay, you're gonna have to live with that. You finally say, fine.
yeah,
Okay, but really what I'm doing is I'm coming in and I'm fleecing about a case a day, running decoy, for people.
yeah.
So instead of that one a week that you know of, I'm really taking about, a case a day. So, but you're okay with that. You've grown to be desensitized and okay with that one I'm taking a
Mhm,
week. I'm telling you,
mhm.
kind of like with those other things like Harp and Blue Beam, and using somebody like George Soros as a boogeyman.
I
Those
agree. Yeah,
things
yeah.
are used as a decoy
It's a
for
decoy,
because.
but
Yeah. I mean,
what I'm
put it
trying to say is that people, if they see UFOs in the sky at this point, or they see like they make contact, or they see anything unusual, they're gonna say, "Well, this is probably fake." Anyway, it's gonna be hard to tell the real thing from
They'd have to
the
look up first
fakes,
of all. They'd have to look. I know, but before we got there, even they'd have to actually look up once in a while. It's about their
Mhm.
awareness, right? It's before you even get to that level. It's about their awareness, right? And then after that cusp of breaking through that, they might start to be in that mode what you're talking about, where it's like, okay, well, is it real? Is it Project Purple Beam? Is it Project Tie Dye?
Mhm.
Is it Project Orange Beam? I mean, whatever it might be, right? I mean, so you can only go
Yeah.
through consciousness, right? I mean, if I'll put it this way, if they're up there making something, dance around and come talk to me and all that shit, well, good, I mean, all the better for them. I
Mhm.
really, it's about discernment in every now moment that you're in, and not always looking for, because most people that are conspiracy people that are looking for the guy behind the curtain, it's really the guy
Mhm.
right in front of them fucking them over. But when they're looking at the guy right in front of them, it is really the guy behind the curtain fucking them over. So they're always one step behind it with shit like that because they're always paranoid and trying to use their earth mind to come to this.
Yeah.
This means
I
that I'm
mean,
always telling people in
I
the
have a question for you, I don't know. I hope you can answer, but
God,
let's
I do too.
say, do you believe like if the aliens were to come to Earth or whatever? I mean, most of them don't even have bodies at this point because they are of a high dimension, but let's say
A
some of
lot
the
do. I think
aliens.
dimensions, but most don't. I think what it be is people. The concept of seeing other human beings that look like us, okay, it's one thing because there are, but these
Mhm.
others that don't, they're multidimensional. I mean, some of these crafts are living beings. I mean, so they
Yeah, yeah.
aren't ready for the interdimensional aspect to it. I think that it's really not so much the extraterrestrials, right, from outer space, from Norblat 9 or wherever the fuck you wanted to call them coming from. It's more so the
Mhm.
interdimensional looking shit because I've seen interdimensional shit that I could not describe to you. There's no earth words. I can't. It'd be like seeing a color from a different planet that you've never seen, and there are many of them that don't exist here, and
Yeah.
they're not based in any Earth color. Now, how in the fuck would you describe that, right?
Well,
So,
that is what some people say, that you can see colors that don't exist here. And another thing is that I do believe that most of these beings come from other dimensions and not necessarily from other planets.
yeah,
And
same thing. I did a talk about that too. It's kind of the same thing because as you get up into the
Mhm.
higher dimensions, but the thing is, Dar, all these planets are in higher dimensions, right? It's
Mhm.
not just life on them, so they are from higher dimensions and other planets at the same time. It's in higher dimensions. It's in
Mhm.
dimensions, right? And there's parallel ones right around us, right? We talk about parallel lives. Life is
Yeah.
teeming all around us, and it's all within us as well.
That's the thing. It's all within us for sure. And this is what people need to get, that they don't give their power away, because pretty
Yeah,
much we contain the whole universe.
we do, and people, and I say this about every fourth show I ever do. People have such a hard time grasping the concept of what I'm about to say, because people are of either a mindset that it's a physical universe they're seeing, or that it's a holographic projection, and you'll get morons that are stuck with one or the other, like with creationism or
Mhm. Mhm.
what really they have a hard time getting, and it's one of them things on earth you really can't explain. If you have to ask, you really never know. It's both. It's both
It's
a
both,
physical
yeah.
reality and it's also a projection. The hologram.
Exactly.
And then people have such a hard time. It's one of the things I can't give you. I mean, it's a fact, but you can't really put it into earth terms why that is. I mean, somebody may be able to, but it's both. And just like with creationism and evolution, it's so obvious that it's both, but some people are stuck in
I
one
mean,
mode.
because it's the same reason why you have endless possibilities, you know, you have endless realities and you have endless states of consciousness. And in those endless states of consciousness, you can have any fucking thing you want and you do, you know.
Anything you
And
could ever
that's,
think of is a reality in some parallel reality. Anything that could ever possibly come to your mind
yeah,
um, is a reality, right?
yeah,
Otherwise, you wouldn't would have the thought. I'll get you one
it's
that's even
true.
trickier. I have had songs that I have heard here that I know that I've heard in other timelines, like before they even came out, like back in Atlantis and Lemuria, I heard that song, or back on another planet, I've heard that
Mhm.
song. And it really stands to reason because there are so many possibilities throughout the universe that that is going to be close to or exactly duplicated as somewhere else, right? So
Yeah,
it's reasonable for me to think that that's that to know that that happened, right? Because it's the percentages. I mean, it's going to happen at some point, right?
it's
It's
true. And, you know, this is the same reason why I always, sometimes people criticize me because they said, "Oh, you listen to anybody and you accept everyone's reality." But this is what it is because we are like each own unique expression of God, of the ultimate consciousness, at least what we think is the ultimate consciousness. Everybody does have their own reality actually because we are unique, you know. So
one quantum piece, right? But we're just manifestations of each other over and over again in our own uniqueness, recreated, right?
yeah.
But you listen to anybody? Are you a you're a big Alex Jones fan, aren't you?
No, I'm not actually, but thank you
Oh,
for
okay.
asking.
Yeah. That wasn't a compliment. Yeah. Well,
No, I
he's great.
know it was probably a joke, but
He's great late night entertainment if you want to hear the hit parade come out. La Globalist and the Illuminati and the Bilderberg Group and the Warren Commission and the Cabal and the New World Order and fucking, the Harper Valley PTA and the Elks Club 6085251 in Dunsbury, Illinois.
you know, just
Right?
like the Project Bluebeam, I think this guy is a decoy too, you know. So
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, who Alex is a decoy?
yeah.
I'll tell you what, he's funny. I saw him on CNN about 12 years ago, and he's like, him and Pierce Morgan were getting into it. He's all, what are you going to do, Pierce? England. He's got this paper in his hand. Alex does it. Alex is going, now England's going to ban butter knives pretty soon here. And I mean, I was asking people not too long. We had a good laugh at it. Yeah, but England's going to ban butter knives. Well, how
Oh
far are they
god.
going to get, Pierce? Yeah, he was just trolling. Pierce is all he was doing. They're going to ban butter knives. You got hordes of people burning down buildings in London right now, and I'm like,
I
hey,
think,
whatever,
you
man.
know, I think all of these things are created for division, you know, and it's kind of mostly useless division into more useless timelines.
Well,
And
people, man, and
yeah.
they got paid. I love David Wilcock to death, but Wilcock is a master at. This guy has had. I've heard him since the '90s, since he came on Art Bell as a teenager, and he was like, let's see, I'll go down the list. Every person who's ever been president and ran for fucking president, whether they want or not, has been part of the Galactic Federation if they happen to
Mhm.
be up in the polls at that time. David knows how to work people. He knows how to play it back. My wife, who is a master's degree nurse from
Mhm.
Switzerland, or not Switzerland, Iceland, but she thinks that David is a schizophrenic. I'm not willing to go that far. I don't know. But I mean,
Hmm.
he knows how to play the people because he knows how to read polls. He knows how to read whoever's up in the polls. As far as a politician goes, they're in the Galactic Federation. I mean, they've all been in it, several different times. So he knows how to
Well,
work
that's
because
what he said.
he knows people's attention spans are like a day, and he knows that he can say some different shit the next week. Plus, he's good at doing that. I mean, the thing with David, he's got a super high consciousness, right? And he knows a lot, but he knows how to fucking work people. He knows the hack.
Yeah.
Alex Jones does too in his own way, right? Alex knows that he can go back and forth and go up and down. It's kind of like pro wrestling, turn bad, turn good. Alex knows that
Yeah.
he can he can talk about the most outrageous shit, and some people buy it. And he don't have to care, and it can be dangerous sometimes. Although if you like a good comedy show, his shit can be funny sometimes. I mean, it just.
That's the
But
truth. I mean,
I know what he's up to, but
yeah.
it can be serious. Yet at the same time, there can be a little bit of truth into what he's saying, right? At
Well,
times,
it
not
usually
really.
is. They usually mix the truth with a lot of lies, and then people get even more confused, you know.
Right, 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 right. Well, they do, and that's part of the whole game. That's why
Yeah,
it's so cool when you see all above it, and I can see it. It can be comical, right? But a lot of people believe in everything he says, and I
but
mean, good power to him. Maybe the joke's on me. Maybe he is a prophet. Who knows? He could be.
I mean, I
That
think it's a checkpoint for consciousness. Once you reach a certain point of consciousness, you kind of separate from those things because you realize what they really are, is to make more division and not in a good way. And this is when something causes division and not coherence inside of you, it's probably not the best thing for you or the whole planet. When something makes you, I mean, sometimes it's good for something to make you doubt things so you can think and use your mind, but when it fucks with your mind to a point that you only lose energy and time to deal with that and never find any logical conclusion, it's probably not a great thing.
and that comes back to the energy of whoever put that out there, right? To you, like I mean that thing to make you doubt, right? Whatever the
Yeah,
energy behind that is usually a telltale sign of what's going to affect or how beneficial or not beneficial it is to you.
exactly. I mean, a lot of those things are decoys, distractions to distract you from the real path that you were supposed to go. I mean,
Hmm.
I guess it's a checkpoint in time because for people who are still stuck in those narratives with those people, and I'm not going to name any of them, but let's just say people who distract you.
Is one of
Uh,
them is one of them
yeah.
named Alex? You can tell us. Is one of them named Alex?
I mean,
No,
could be
there we
any of
go.
those, but the
Right.
thing here is you outgrow those things when you are in a certain point of your journey, and you outgrow also debating either the earth is flat or round or whatever.
Yeah, where it's a
You
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a sphere. But P, isn't it funny? People get locked into one way or the other. My former co-host and I, Bridget Rao of Divine Essentials, we went on air about 10 years ago and just trashed the flat earthers. And the only thing is, we got a little bit of blowback because we didn't. Well, she had her life threatened, but we got a little blowback because we didn't. I mean, I could have looked into like some of the terms they used, right? Not their theory, but yeah, we just went on and just we had it with hearing about it all the time. We just decided to go on, and the show's out there on YouTube, but
Mm-hmm.
the magnetic Earth or some bullshit. But yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
just had a bitch rant session, and a lot of people were pissed because they were hooked. But those people were hooked into a one way of thinking, right? Even through
Exactly. Exactly.
right? Even the creation of the evolution thing, it's either the yin or the yang, the this or the that, or the Earth flat
Oh
theory.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Just the whole thing of a theory. The flat Earth theory. It sounds. It's just I don't buy and I don't get into being hooked into something like that because it's never really
Exactly,
exactly what.
because you overgrew like duality. You came out of duality, and what I
And
was
yeah,
talking about before was like why I prefer the polyhedral dice in
mm-hmm.
quantum theory. I prefer it to the coin because the coin only has two sides. Like black and white, and living in zeros and ones and duality, but the polyhedral dice can have like many sides, and the one that would be in the universe would have like unlimited sides.
Like Earth is probably Earth when it's at its ascension is a multidimensional. It's a multidimensional organ basically of endless
Exactly, yeah. It's a
free
living
ways.
organism that always shifts with our consciousness.
Yep. Right. Absolutely. That you can walk right off the edge of if you get too close. You can go
If
over
you
go over.
wanted to.
You could. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm sure that see, everything is true. Everything people think of, it is true. Like a lot of people are stuck in this Tatarian theory about that civilization that we've
Oh
only really been
yeah,
a couple hundred years. Now, see that all this shit is true though. There's all these different endless parallel realities. So everybody's right with their theories. It's just
that's
that
true.
it's just that
Everybody's right. Yeah, yeah,
where they fail, where they fuck up and lose any credibility that they could have in their thought, is that they think theirs is the one, that only one that is, because
exactly. Yeah,
getting nowhere to come up with a Tartarian theory. I mean, you're only, 1/10 of the way there at the most, because then it's also that there's
it's not
endless.
even 1/10. It's 0.001%. You know.
Very little of it, and that's just how it is. And and yet they don't want to. They just, like with biblical scholars, they don't want to atone for the fact that, well, how do you atone for this going on or that going on? Or they'll say something like, "Oh, it's just planted that way perfectly." Nothing really fucking works like that.
Exactly.
Everything has
Yeah,
an intricacy to it. It isn't just that it was that and this, or somebody created the heavens and the earth. This shit was built in some sort of a physical way too, right? You've got all these nebulas in the sky that are creation manifestation centers. Right, and see,
exactly.
the only thing that irritates me is I'm the dumbest motherfucker that you'll ever hear talk, or anything that anybody will ever hear talking. I mean, I get all this shit, and I seem like a lot of people don't. I mean, I think they're refusing to for some reason, because they can't. It can't be that any of these people are aware of less than me. You know what
No,
I mean?
but what you
So
just said was exactly the truth, you know.
I
Everybody
am.
has their own truth, and what they fail to recognize is that there are limitless truths out there. Some of them probably more true than the others, but
Right,
you
right,
know, people are blinded by duality. They are blinded by just one or two truths, you know, and this is
right.
what is what's keeping them stuck in loops, you know, and it prevents them from developing further, you know.
And I don't understand that. I know why it is. I mean, no Earth explanation could, because I've heard it all and know it all. But as far as that goes, but
Hmm.
I don't quite get that kind of mentality though. That's just how it is. I don't get that thought of, it's just how it is. That's just how it
Well,
is.
you know, I wonder if those are programmed, as you would call them, NPCs, if those even exist. I'm not sure. Or people are just so small minded
Yeah.
sometimes that they refuse to look outside the box, you know?
Right, right, right. Oh, somebody will message me later and tell me that they do. Oh God, and they'll give me 20 pages to read about it, and I'm like, "Dude,
Oh,
okay, man.
God.
First of all, I don't. Before even getting to that, I'm insulted that they would waste my time with that, knowing how busy I am. Not that I'm anybody special.
Hmm.
My fucking God, dude. Don't send me some bullshit or tell me to Google anything. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
why would you do that? I've heard of all these people before you're going to tell me about already. All right, and
Yeah,
if it's something
you
that I
didn't
haven't
even
heard
have
of,
to hear about anyone
well,
because you
okay,
already came to the point where you have a lot of the truths already inside you. So you didn't
yeah,
even have to
that's
hear
already there.
that, you know.
No, I don't. I just get offended in a way by it. I'd rather have somebody call me a cocksucker, motherfucker, dirty punk than send me a bunch of shit like that, dude. Unless it's just an end all fucking be all. And I mean, it better be so good that after reading that motherfucker, I mean, I can go on some kind of a tour and get a book deal. I mean, it'd have to be that good. I don't care what the Illuminati's up to and who they did what and all this bullshit. I've heard it 35 million times.
You
Told
know, you
35.
unlocked the levels of consciousness that are really fucking high, and doesn't matter what you see or read or do, it's
It
not going to
reminds me.
change what you already know, you know.
What it reminds me of is that there's a show, Coast to Coast AM. It's kind of a joke. It's, like 2 hours of commercials, of 4 hours, but
Mm-hmm.
every 2 weeks they have a new guy out with a Kennedy theory. I don't give
Mm-hmm.
a fuck. I said, you know what? I will, dude. I will. If I see you in public, I'll hit you. If you tell me about it, and it's not something more dramatic than the FBI was, of course, all the suspects were in on it, but the aliens were in on it. Castro, Mao Zedong, Khrushchev,
Yeah, the same old
the
fucking
whole
shit, you know.
world.
Yeah.
His wife, his brother were in on it too, and also Kennedy, see, I've got this new theory. I was thinking about writing a book on this because it would sound better than any book that's ever been written about this motherfucking death by far.
Mhm, mhm.
I was going to come up with the fact that he, and I still might, he actually is the one that killed himself. John F. Kennedy was the one that killed himself. And how this happened was, you see, he had to come back from the future. He's a future extraterrestrial being on a similar planet like Earth. And, he was sent down here at the time to save things. But then, something got fucked up. So he was sent back into time to start a 70-year process to rid the world of the Illuminati. So what he did
Mm,
was he cloaked himself and he showed up from the back from another parallel reality in the future, and he got on the grassy knoll and he shot himself and killed himself. So it was really President Kennedy that killed himself. Now that sounds better than any literature that's ever been put out about the death by
pretty
a long
cool
shot.
actually. Yeah,
And if
that's pretty
aliens were
cool, yeah.
involved, I mean, if it's it better be the aliens were involved. The Harper Valley PTA was involved. The chess club down at the local junior high was involved. Everybody,
Yeah,
the future homeowners of America were involved, right? I mean, it better be something like
yeah.
that before I would even, because the way I look at it now is I'm willing to give the dark side that one little victory. They waited us out. I mean, it
I
really would do
think,
nothing but damage to
most of
release
the
now the people that
history,
might. Uh,
yeah, most of the history, I think it's fake anyway. It's a show for the masses, and I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't really die.
oh, I don't know. Yep,
Honestly.
he's with Jim Morrison over on an island somewhere in Elvis, and
Well, not
uh,
at this point. They are probably dead now, but they weren't back then.
see, and and some of that had to come from somewhere. So at the very base of all those theories like that, some little part of it somewhere, whether it was just one of them that was taken like that. But to say for sure, unless you were there, it's a fool's errand. I mean, unless you were
Yeah,
there
no,
and
I don't know anything.
yeah, I
Actually,
mean,
I would
but to
never
say
dare to say that I
you're a
know
fucking
if
job if
how
you
he
think
was killed
without
or. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if you think it without having actual proof, it's such a whacked out theory that yeah, you can believe it sounds good, and there's a lot of things like that I do, but I mean, I don't have any kind of substantive to say that
I
that's
mean,
it.
I
And
kind of like your story about coming back from the future. It's pretty cool, actually.
yeah, well, yeah, dude. Only a dumb fuck would say it wasn't the best Kennedy story ever. I
It,
mean, none
it's
of
the
this.
best fucking story. Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, the variety of translations of it were about over with the day after it happened. I mean, somebody shot
I
him from the
mean,
ground.
the only thing missing is like he would go back into the Jurassic era and bring a T-Rex with him.
Be part two of the movie, girl. That's going to be part two of the book, but that could be two.
Oh,
Yeah, that could be
okay.
two. But it's a lot more. It's better than any of the other bullshit because how
I
many
mean,
times
you
can you
should
say that? It,
consider at least, to add
yeah.
a T-Rex in there.
Nothing would surprise me as far as whether who was involved, extraterrestrials, his brother, his wife. I mean, all this shit is extremely feasible. It's as extremely feasible. It's just about as feasible as that it's not. So there's nothing
Exactly.
that Walter Cronkite back in New York reporting it, or Dan Rather on the scene in Dallas, could have had Dan Rather could have had something inside of his microphone that shot Kennedy with a blow
Hmm.
dart. I mean, I don't know, you know what I mean though? But none of this shit, but you know what? Also, I will say one thing about these guys that keep writing books about it though. I
Hmm.
could have a problem with them, but I'll tell you, there's one thing: they got paid. They got paid.
Yeah, they got paid. That's true.
3D, name of the game in 3D. They got fucking paid. You
I
can't
mean,
blame
if you do this
them.
book and you do it really well, you might get paid too.
I've thought about it really coming out and saying, I might do it. And people have heard this, well, you said that, yeah, and I will say, well, no, that was in a parallel reality. I said it. So, I mean,
Yeah, I can feel you are already inspired. I can feel it.
yeah, it will be. I just got to work out the details a little bit better as far
Yeah,
as a few things, but how long in the future he was, and it's just the little details I got to figure out. And then he come back, and you could barely, and then I'll have to come up with some pictures just now released where there was outlines of something out on the
mhm,
grassy knoll. It didn't like it was fully, it looked like it was cloaking kind of, and it might have been in
yeah,
it. We'll point out that it was his body, and he took that shot from the grassy knoll, and
yeah,
did it. So that could start off all this bullshit that happens over the years, and it's the 100-year downfall of the Illuminati, right? It's a 100-year plan
yeah,
starting
yeah.
from them going into the 50s of this century, right, to expose it and get rid of it. He killed,
Definitely, I
came
mean,
back.
you could even
I could see,
put him
it's funny.
back in time, to pick up some
I could see David.
historical.
I
Yeah.
could see Wilcock or I love Ike's. Yeah, yeah, David Ike. He's not. He goes conspiracy, but I don't know if he'd go quite that far. But I could hear
Oh,
Wilcock.
David.
What the heck, hear Alex Jones saying it, and I figure, you know what, man, I better beat those two to the punch with it, right before one of them comes out. And because I can see, I love David. I can see him sitting there, the way he points and the way he looks and the way he's explaining it. I can see him right in my head explaining how this
You know
happened.
what?
On
David
air.
really believes in what he's saying, so that's good. He's not doing it for the
Yeah,
money.
no,
He
no,
doesn't look.
I truly believe he does too. And there's a
Yeah.
little tiny bit of him that's a showmanship too. There's a phone call he made to Coast one night. I've got a show where I talked about it, and I'd pay $50 if anybody could get a copy of that tape where he
Wow.
flipped out and called
Mhm.
up George Norrie on the not on the private line, but through the regular switchboard and said they were going to try to kill him. He was being
Okay.
killed and hunted by the Illuminati. But that, remember I told you about that. But that if he could make it till Monday morning, and this was Saturday morning when they were taking over or late night calls, he
Okay.
said, but they did tell me that if I can make it till Monday morning, they'll never mess with me again in my life, and they'll even help me sometimes. Now, I mean, that's a hell of a death threat, but people would buy that. Somebody would threaten
Hmm.
your life, but if you could make it 2 days without them killing you, not only will they never mess with you, but they'll help you once in a while. Oh, it's
Well,
priceless.
that's a little
My
bit
son
weird,
had
honestly. Yeah.
a weird phone call. My son had his football team staying the night, and I was just kind of watching the extraterrestrials in the sky, and I had a coast on in the background. And I hear Norrie's producer go, "Oh my God!" George Norrie goes, "Tommy, is that David Wilcock on line 5?" All surprised. Oh, yeah, George, it is, and you better take it. And he gets on the phone and, oh, hi, David. And Wilcock was really freaked out. Man, they're going to kill me. And then George's like,
Wow.
who?
Sounds like a lot of drama.
Totally drama. And Wilcock is like right on cue. Wilcock, when asked who was killing him, he went right into the top 40. The Illuminati, the Bilderberg Group, the NWO, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. He went right down the fucking hit list, the
All
Rockefeller.
the decoys, pretty much. Yeah.
And then the second that George mentioned calling the police, David's like, no, you can't do that. Then I think, like I told you, the air went dead
Oh
on the
God,
call.
it's like watching James Bond almost.
Yeah, and the phone went, or the radio went dead, and it was like 10 seconds. And like
Mm.
I said, that's a fucking eternity on air. He comes back,
Wow.
and you hear George going, David, 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 are you there? David, are you there? And keep in mind,
You there?
David was in tears before they went off the air. Boom, right on
I
cue.
mean,
David had,
Larry, you better not go quiet because I'm gonna think something
yeah,
happened over there. So
David did a one fucking 80, and he was like, but George, this is when he started in with that they won't kill him. George, they did tell me that if I can make it till Monday morning, they will
okay.
never mess with me again, and they will even help me out once in a while if I can make it to.
Wow.
By now, he had about 40 hours to go. So
That is so dangerous.
just like, you got anywhere to go, Tommy? You can go. You got lots of people, Tommy. Just don't come to my house in St. Louis or L.A. No, he didn't say that part. George didn't say that, but I added that in. But
Just don't
it
come to
was
my house because I don't want
the
to get shot.
I'm like, what the hell? Because I was worried about him at first. I mean, I'm like, what the fuck? He was
Yeah.
sad about it. And then, I mean, so that went down. So, as long as he could have hit out another 48 hours, they would not only not kill him, but they would help him.
That would be
Yeah,
great. I mean, we were all hoping for him to survive.
I know it's great entertainment, though. See, the bottom line is, life is entertainment. So it
Yeah,
was
that's
one
what it
phone call.
is. Yeah.
It was a fucking mind bender. I mean, it was like, yeah.
Yeah.
But George, they did say that, and George Norrie plays the perfect doofus. Oh gosh, Tommy, what do you? Or gosh, David, what are you gonna do? Oh, you got to hold the
What are
police.
you gonna do?
It kinda, I think, triggered David to kind of come off the other, and it could have been all a
Mhm.
work too. It could have been all a work. The radio going dead. I mean, because Coast has done that for years. Art Bell used to do it all the time to fuck with people. They have the radio go dead for a few
So,
minutes. You
you
have to
know,
take care of it, then and say that the government did it, or kind of infer that the Illuminati did it, and then there was probably times where some shit like that happened, and
so
then there was some.
they just called me too, and they told me like, they just told me that if I don't have a glass of water in the next 10 minutes, I'll probably be dehydrated, and so I'm probably gonna have to do that. But
But
I
if
just
you
wanted to
don't
say,
after 10 after that, you'll be fine. Yeah,
yeah, I might be fine or I might be not. Who knows?
absolutely, girl. Well, yeah, your phone. You told me you only had like a 15% charge. It's got to be going dead, and I think
Yeah,
we've already
it's
solved
going
all the
dead
world's
soon.
problems.
Yeah.
We solved it. Well, did we even come on here? We did not realize we'd be solving the Kennedy assassination, did we?
No, no, we didn't realize, and this is a
Yep.
giant breakthrough for humankind. You know.
Well, absolutely. And then he came back from the future. It was President Kennedy that did it. Can you just see the look on people's face? But you tell them that, and they really think you know, and you tell them "Well, it was President Kennedy that killed himself." I
But
mean, the
they will
look in
finally
people's
know the truth. You know. Finally, I mean,
eyes.
it was about time.
It's about time they knew that it was him from the future coming back to save the
Yeah.
day, but it would take 100 years for it to pay off, and he'd be there waiting for us. Yeah, I mean, but it's a better
Yeah.
read than any bullshit that's ever been put out about the book. I mean, anything you could ever really want to know or need to
Oh,
know
no,
about
but
that,
I have a better
you could.
idea. I have a better idea. I mean, he must have traveled in time
Yeah,
like twice, because one time he shot himself, and the second time he traveled in time, he saved David Icke. You know, from
yeah,
the yeah.
yeah. David was grateful, I'm sure.
He
Yes,
was grateful,
he probably
and
saved
then
David.
Mr. Wilcock also. You know.
Both of them, yeah, and got David Icke out of his fucking dreadful fucking existence at the BBC. I mean, he did a good job there, but I mean, I'm sure
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
them. That sounds like a
So
great
Kennedy
job.
was really was having a lot of work. He was like James Bond, but much better. Like was
Much
crazy.
better
You know?
a cosmic version of James Bond.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Cosmic Bond. You know.
cosmic
Yeah,
Bond. Yeah, that cosmic Bond, I like it. Yeah, the Kennedy. Yeah, right, right, right. So that's what it is, man. I think he came back from the future and killed himself because that would trigger the consciousness, even though it'd be slow, and we'd go on this 100 year
yeah,
plan to get rid of the Illuminati and the cabal. That sounds good to
yeah,
me.
and that
Okay,
shit, and also like
and
people
people.
arguing if the Earth was a pizza or something. You know.
Yep, that with
Yeah,
pepperoni over it.
I think it's must be pepperoni. I mean, yeah, yeah. What else?
Well, you can see on Scoops, that platform, you can see people getting a fist fight at Little Caesars because one person got one more pepperoni over the other, and they'll slap each other with
Wow.
pizza and shit, and they got pizza slapped. I mean, you've heard of pimp slap. I mean, these people got pizza slapped and shit, big time.
Well, this
Yeah,
is the Earth that Kennedy fought for when he traveled in time. This is the consciousness that he was expecting. You know, here. Yeah.
mhm, yeah. Well,
The
yeah.
people fighting over pizza. Yeah.
He really knew. See, he had a lot of foresight, more foresight than people realized. He knew what was coming down
He
the pike
knew.
on a dimensional level. But yeah, it is better than any book because anything you'd really want to know in all seriousness about that fucking story, you could know in 1 minute. I mean, this theory,
Yeah.
that theory could have been that, could have been this, and then you can go back and forth and say, yeah, because that's all it's been ever since. And as a manifestation over and over again, this way, that
I
way, this
mean,
way. That way.
this book is gonna blow open the pineal glands of people. It's gonna be crazy. You know, after they
Oh,
read
it's
this book, wow.
gonna blow their fucking brain or their pineal open like a big hit of window pane would have done.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, Orange Sunshine. Boom. Yeah, but did you have? Is there anything else that you would like to enlighten the world with? Maybe something about the brother, Robert Kennedy.
Oh God. Not really. Probably. I mean, hmm,
I'll tell you a
uh,
quick Robert Kennedy story, though, real quick before we go off there. So,
okay.
ran this
Yeah.
police force for a while. I got back off the weekend and I had the phone. There was a message on my phone. Okay, it was lit up and I went over to answer it or check it out. And I hear this
Hmm.
guy get on the other line and he knew my name and he goes, Larry, your men assaulted me, Larry, this weekend, Larry. They really assaulted me,
Wow.
Larry. Something, Larry. I'm a damn good attorney too, Larry. I work for Bobby Kennedy out of the criminal division in Iowa. And the first thing I thought when he said that was, and this was around the year 2000. I thought to myself, that was 40 motherfucking years ago, dude. Because he was
Wow.
JFK's attorney general during his presidency. And I started laughing to myself, listen to that. Like, I had to have the guys all come in and listen. But then he started talking about, there was this cop that we had come to take him to county named Officer Cool.
Hmm.
Officer McCool was his name. But this guy kept saying, "Oh, where's Officer Cool? Maybe I'll go see Officer Cool." Or is it Tuesday? I'm a damn good attorney. Or is it Tuesday? He kept saying, he must have said in this 5 minute rant, or is it Tuesday, probably 15 times. He'd stop and he'd go, or is it Tuesday? Maybe I should go see
Mhm.
Officer Cool. And he kept repeating that shit and he getting more psychotic. Leary, you're been assaulted me. I looked at the fucking video footage, dude. It was mundane, nothing. It was nothing. But they assaulted him and he was a damn good attorney for Bobby Kennedy out of the criminal division in Iowa. And I'm thinking, yeah, motherfucker, that was 40 fucking years ago, which is like 60 now. But, it was a long fucking time ago. Time was a little
It
slower then.
was.
I mean, yeah, it was 40 years would be like about 50 now ago.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, dude, fuck, man, okay, and you're not eating out of a, drinking out of a straw. I'll never forget that guy's name, and I don't have any problem saying it, Donnie Ray Bennett, because I mean, the motherfucker was 68 if he was a day old then. I mean, if not in his mid 70s, so he's got to be long since pushing up daisies by now, or out at sea more spread. But yeah, Leary, your men, Leary, and maybe I'll go see Officer Kugel. Or is it Tuesday? I must have played that phone call 50 times for my staff. I even called my boss, the CEO down of the tribe we work for, and I said, well, I made him listen to it, and he laughed, and then he would bring some of his buddies in to fucking listen to it. So that tape became famous. I should have saved a copy of that phone call though.
So
Larry,
what
yeah.
was the point of the whole thing, you
Uh,
know? What was the main thing about this?
he wouldn't leave property. He took a piss on the side of the building. He was being belligerent. I mean, he just kept pushing his luck and pushing his luck. And he told, well, go ahead and arrest me, go ahead and arrest me. And they finally arrested him, and county came and got him. And Officer
Mhm.
McCool, who we called Officer Cool. I wonder if Officer Cool's working today. I mean, or is it Tuesday? Or is
You
it
gotta
Tuesday?
include this guy in your book, Officer
Dude,
Cool.
the
You
Tuesday,
should.
so the joke would always be, or is it Wednesday? I mean, for the next year, it was always, or is it Wednesday? How are you doing today?
Maybe
I'm
it's
doing today.
Tuesday.
Or is it
You know,
Friday? I mean, but or is it Tuesday? He'd stop right
I'm
mid
pretty
sentence.
sure it's Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes all kinds, girl. I mean, kind of shit you couldn't make up. But yeah, I mean, or is it Tuesday? And Larry and Officer Cool and Bobby Kennedy. I mean, he reminded me of that several times too. That he worked for Bobby Kennedy out of the criminal division in Iowa about
Mm.
35,000 years ago with Pat Robertson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's but I wanted to get that out there. Now that's on record. I think I've told the story before on air, because it's a lifetime funny story. You don't get that every day. I just
Yeah.
expected random
Yeah.
voicemail. I didn't
Yeah.
expect fucking Bonnie to tell me that, he worked that it was Tuesday or ask me if it was Tuesday. And it was
I
actually
mean,
Monday.
after hearing your story that you were gonna write a book about, I think I heard everything I ever needed to know.
Yep. But
Yeah.
between to see the link though, maybe Donnie Ray Bennett was actually, I mean, he worked for Bobby Kennedy. Maybe I got to get David. Well, Wilcock could tie the knots here. He's a little better than I am,
He could.
but he
He
could tie
could.
the knots
Yeah.
between Donnie Ray Bennett, RFK, JFK coming back from the future. He could tie all the fucking knots right together, man. David could do it,
He
and I'm not.
would.
He would in a fucking about 2 minutes.
So
But
listen, are we
we thinking that
gonna say like a
we're gonna say
few things
goodbye.
before we leave? Yeah.
We're gonna say whatever you want to say. You could say "yaki da," my love. Whatever you want to say. You could say what do you want to say?
Actually,
You want to tell
I
people.
don't know yet, but I might come up with something. I mean, but maybe we could make a little of a like a conclusion or something,
Well, maybe we could
before
do
we leave.
where
Yeah.
we'll do another show where you come up with all the things that you were gonna say at the ending. Could be the ending show where it's nothing but monologues going out. The monologue
Okay.
going 1,000 different monologues going out. Yeah, well, what do you want to tell people? Do you want people to know where you are on the wonderful world of social media, which isn't many places, by the way?
Actually, not really, because I'm really not doing anything on those platforms except, talking to few people like yourself, and there's nothing to see over there, even if I was to
There isn't.
send
It's pretty
people
dry,
to check it out.
pretty pathetic, girl. I will say, to be quite honest. Um, but no, it's not. It's okay. No, but there really isn't much, as far as that goes now. So I mean, we could say
Yeah.
that you exist on planet Earth.
I mean, I exist in many parallel realities, you know?
Yep, and I exist in too many motherfucking places to tell. I'm over. I mean, everywhere. Any social media platform, I'm sure that we're on it. There's probably 14 of them. I mean, we're on fucking purple sky, gray sky, tangerine sky, gray skies. Gray skies are going to clear up, put in a happy face. We're on blue sky. Of course, we're on TikTok, hip hop, bit bop, and it don't stop and it won't stop. It just goes on and on till the
No.
break. And unfortunately, don't even quit then. I'm on television, tell a lie, tell a friend, telegram. Go tell Graham I need another gram before I go back on air. I'm on Snapchat, you chat, we chat, he chat, she chat, we all chat. All
We
of
all
them,
chat.
the CM,
Yeah.
Instagram, Yam. I
So
mean,
we,
the
we
Tumblr
thought
I'm
we
on.
were
I'm
gonna
not a
be
Tumblr,
here like
or I'm
for
on Tumblr.
15 minutes, you know? And we
Yeah,
are now 1 hour and a half, you know,
one
in.
hour and a half, man. I could go on and on about where I'm at. I'm on Tumblr. Now, Tumblr's an exciting place. If you like watching lawn furniture slowly rot, it's probably the place to go. It's that exciting. But I'm not a Tumblr.
Yeah,
I'm any more humbler. I'm not a stumbler. I'm on Tumblr.
on
There.
Tumblr. Oh God, I heard about that, but I don't know what they do over there, you know?
It's not much. I'm on X. Not a lot of sex on X, but I wish all my exes would move to Texas. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, but I digress there. I'm on Lemon 8. It's so great. Just ask my friend Nate. He's always got a clean slate when he's over on Lemon 8. He just loves Lemon 8 because he likes to go on there so he can master his checkmate because he wants to be good at chess. I mean,
That's
fuck, man.
good,
I mean, I
yeah.
think is that everything? No, there's probably more, but we don't have time right now. We got to get to a commercial break. Oh, Pinterest. Oh, I
Yeah,
have a lot of interest, mostly disinterest, some interest in Pinterest, but not a lot of interest in Pinterest. I
not
know
a
when
lot,
it's
no.
meds, I should probably go to bed. I can't grow any dreads. I got plenty of street cred, but maybe I'm on threads. Um,
Maybe,
you
maybe.
maybe, or is it Tuesday?
You know, just to say something about all this stuff, you know,
Yeah, give me it.
you gotta really pick what you are dealing with, because believe me, everything is energy, and the
Yeah,
energy you lose at some place, you could have used it better at some other place, and you have to do a little research of what will work best, you know,
yeah,
because all this, I think they are like, breaking it apart, you know, like instead of having
probably.
one or two or three great platforms, they are making like endless fucking shitty
Well, that.
platforms. Yeah.
Yeah, when I talk about like I'd like to do a show with people on these platforms, what they think of them, and people that are on more than one or two,
Mm-hmm.
is that they all have some good qualities. What I can't understand is like TikTok's got two things that it could do to what I don't understand one of them a lot. And it's really bizarre because every other platform does this, why they only allow 1 minute of music. You can do at least 2 minutes and 59 seconds at any other one except for YouTube, but
Yeah.
that you can on any of them. Fuck right. Well, Lemonade don't take music at all, but any other one, all of them, you can do it with ease, not a problem, no worries. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why TikTok don't bend on that. That's kind of funny. And the other thing I would do if I was TikTok for the old fucking senior citizen people, that I would also have an alternate timeline on there where you could post links and shit. I know it's kind of outdated, but I wouldn't make it replace what they've got, but I'd have an option to where they could click on an area and go post their shit too. So I'd have that, and I'd have
Well,
them get rid of that ridiculous music policy, and then really they would have for as much as before we get into complete quantum computing, as far as a third dimensional reality platform
mm,
goes, at that point they would have about everything you could want. But for me, for what I do, and I don't give a fuck what anybody else says because Facebook is still the best game in town because you can do everything that I need to do over there. You can go live for unlimited time. You can post links. You can do all that shit. Plus, it's where I cut
mm.
my. So I mean, there was like two platforms when I started. That's it. I mean, and Twitter was in its infancy. MySpace had been
It's
out.
the best, you know, but it comes with a price, but
But
that's
sure.
a very long debate, you know, too.
Right, but TikTok really had the opportunity and blew it with that music policy, right? That's a killer for
Well,
them.
I
One
don't know
thing.
what's the reason behind that, but
Oh, because
TikTok, you know.
everybody else allows,
Mm.
yeah, they'll give you a minute and a half of music and you can put up to 3 minutes. Yeah, I don't understand it. And no, 'cause that'll never change because nobody gives a fuck but me
They
about it.
must have a reason behind it, and it's probably linked to money and other things, you know.
Right.
And
And yeah,
also,
they're paranoid about getting shut down and all that. I'm sure they really did a 180 on a lot of shit. They did what really disappointed me, like a lot of humans do when they get dinged for something, instead of just altering it a little bit, taking a step back,
Mhm.
really, altering it a little bit, they go right 180 degrees in the other fucking direction with it. They don't.
Yeah,
So
I
then
mean, it's
I
not really in the best interest of the people. It's in the best interest of themselves always. And the
yeah,
target audience are teenagers. They are not the elderly or anyone. The
yeah.
target audience for them is teenagers, you know.
All these things have different, all these platforms, because I deal with them all the time, they all have their little things that are great. And but the funny thing is, with every single one of them to a T, there's only two or three, at the most three, some only two, some only two, some three issues that if they were to fucking tweak, they would be, they would have everything that I could ever want in a third dimensional
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
social media platform, right? So TikTok, that 1 minute's a killer. If they got rid of that, and if they had that for the old folks, really. That's so much I don't really care about. I mean, I would just think they actually would, and I don't know why they don't. But
But
you
actually,
you
I
could
think that's
you
the
could
whole point, you know.
yeah, yeah. It's more
Uh,
quantum computing. They really
no,
had the talk had the
yeah.
opportunity to be really the prehistoric version of quantum computing, but they
Maybe
sold
they
their soul
don't want to make it
too.
perfect, you know. They really don't want to make it perfect
No, no,
because
no, because they want you to be
this
able
is
to have
how,
it once.
yeah.
Yeah, they don't want you to, yeah, no, it would be too good. But it's that simple, and it's not just them, it's with all of them. They have really just a couple of things, and yet then there's boring old Facebook that has
You
really
know, you answered your own problem because this is what they do on purpose because you lose your energy on different platforms so you can feed all of them with your energy. So if one or two platforms were too perfect, you would
yeah.
just stick to one and things would be more efficient. But this is how you lose your focus and you lose your energy because not even one is fucking efficient
Well, and if
enough
one were to break the mold and do it, if one, two at the most were to break the mold and do it, what it would do is, yeah, it would force those others to eventually at some point have to,
to close
you know,
down, you
uh,
know.
get
Yeah.
with the fucking program, or yeah, close down, right, right.
Because you mentioned threads before and threads is fucking bullshit to me, you know.
I got
Threads
kicked
is
off.
just a
I
bad
don't have to.
imitation of Twitter or X or whatever is going
Yeah,
on
I was
now.
trying to keep that little secret, but Larry's dirty little secret got out there. Yeah, dude, I was kicked off of Threads for posting pictures of orbs. I mean, that was it. I didn't really say anything.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, yeah, because that's all I did is Threads, because everything else was linked in through Instagram that I would share a show or something like that, right? But uh, the orbs, the orbs were too much, man.
That is
So,
weird, you know. That's
yeah,
weird.
yeah,
But
it
I'm gonna have to excuse myself because I'm
is.
gonna be leaving now. So
Yeah, I gotta go do some 3D shit too. So, you don't have anything more to enlighten or dazzle the people with?
I mean,
No, you don't.
y-
Good. Okay, good. I'm glad you answered
I
that.
guess I would, but maybe the next time, you know.
Yeah, the next time we'll do it. The next time you can save the world. We already figured out the Kennedy mess right now. We know.
That was a great one.
You know,
That was a great
he
one.
came back
Yeah.
in the future to help expose the Illuminati, but he had to do himself in to get the ball rolling. Yeah.
And
Well,
think
it,
about the T-Rex, you know. I think it can add a lot, you know.
oh, have Brontosaurus, have him come riding in on one instead of a horse. Have him come riding in like the Marlboro
Definitely,
Man.
or at least a unicorn, at least, you know.
Oh, that'd be the best. Yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, cosmic sports fans. Yes. All right. Well, then, Dara, thank you so much for coming on. This has been a really celestial discussion that we've had. It was the most to say the least, and it was the least to say the most.
Mm-hmm.
Um, very, very much so. So I am, of course, the Iceman, Rocken Larry Locken, and I'm everywhere and anywhere, but I'm nowhere at all. And so with that, we're gonna say goodbye. Let's see, X fucked up on us. Facebook Live. Okay, goodbye, Facebook Live. Say bye, Dara, to Facebook Live.
Goodbye. Bye bye.
Say bye, Dora. Bye, Dora. Bye, Dara. Dara Dara from Bora Bora says goodbye. And she's
I'm
really.
sorry from Lithuania, you know.
Oh, that's
Exactly.
right. That's right. Nobody caught that when I said that at the end of that either, that you were from Lithuania. But,
Yeah, no.
the same to us Americans, Everwanian, Anian. Like my uncle used to say, how come they keep coming up with those new countries over in Europe? Every time you look at a map, I don't know, man.
I mean,
God,
yeah. as I said before, I just stepped off my donkey, and right around the corner there were light codes, you know.
Yeah. Didn't you guys used to be Czechoslovenia? Or is that the no? That's another thing I'm thinking of. All right.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right. Well, goodbye to Yellow Brick Road, where the dogs of society howl. No, okay, that's gonna be. The biggest
I
thing too is the first
promised I
time I was on
wasn't gonna
TikTok Live.
bark, you know. I promised.
It took me 5 minutes to get off of TikTok Live the first time I was on it, trying to find where to exit at. It probably will again. I'm exiting out of YouTube. That's complicated enough for me.